Hello and welcome to the video version of my journal. I'm Stephanie Rivers. Since getting my passport renewed a few months back, I've been wanting to break it in, and this weekend seemed like the perfect opportunity because it was my birthday weekend. And for the past few years, I've turned my birthday celebration into a week-long celebration, including going to somewhere I've never been before. Well, this year I went to South Padre Island, Texas. It's located at the most southern tip on the east coast of Texas, and it's surrounded by the Gulf of Mexico, so it feels as if you're on a tropical island, except you're still in the United States. I'm a water person, a certified scuba diver, and there are land activities including horseback riding, so we rode horses on. But after a few days on a 15-mile-long island, it gets kind of boring. So I had included I had planned to go to Mexico to take on a shopping trip. A lot of my colleagues go to Mexico because of the proximity to Mexico on the other side of the bridge from Texas, from various cities. A lot of people go over there to do some day shopping and then they come back. Well, I'd have to be blind and illiterate not to have known about all the shootings that go on in the border cities because of drug wars between the U.S. And Mexican drug warlords and stuff like that. So I was a little bit weird. And a girlfriend, one of my other co-workers, and we had planned to go together because she and her husband were going to be down at on South Padre Island to celebrate their wedding anniversary. Well, she conveniently forgot her passport at home, and so I try to not make other people's fears my own. So when I say I'm going to do something, I want to go ahead and do it. So ignoring rule number 1, which is never go alone, I started out alone to go to Mexico. I drove the 20-something miles from South Padre Island to Brownsville, because that's the border city, and parked my car and started walking across the border. As it turns out, I wasn't alone. Dozens of other people were crossing the border bridge as well. 300 yards later, I was in Mexico. It cost 65 cents for pedestrians to cross, and nobody even asked to see any ID. When I crossed over, a man approached me and in Spanglish told me he was a guide, and for a small fee he would escort me to the shopping district. He told me his name was Joe Luis, like the boxer. So we hopped in a taxi and off we went to what looked like the older part of town. Clothing and jewelry stores lined the street, and what looked like a smaller Mexican version of the Taste of Chicago was set up in the town square with food vendors, a bandstand, and teens dressed in dance attire. People were everywhere. I considered it a good sign. I got some good deals on turquoise and jade jewelry. I even drank a cup of water while I was there, ignoring rule number 2. I only stayed an hour because I didn't want to push my luck. Joe Luis gave me his cell phone number to set up my next shopping trip to Metamora. I paid him his $10 fee and we parted ways at the same place that we met. And so I came on back and all was well. Well, during my time shopping, I was videotaping the different things and videotaping, of course, Joe Luis. And I thought, well, it would be a good idea to videotape me going back through the checkpoint, because at this time when you go back on the other side, then they want to I think that's funny how they don't really care who comes into Mexico, but they care who's leaving and who's going back into the United States. And did they charge me? I think they did. They charged me going back as well. But Joe Luis gave me some pesos, so I don't really know how much they charged me. I just took what he gave me and put it in the machine. But while I was in line, I was videotaping the checkpoint, and one of the police officers singled me out and pointed to me and told me to come here, and he took my camera away from me. He told me to sit over there. So didn't know what was going to happen for about 15 minutes, and then another officer came, told me to come here, and then he said he had erased the video showing the checkpoint, but I didn't know it was against the law. There were no signs that say you couldn't, and so that to me says it's okay, but apparently not.
So I apologize for causing any confusion. And he just said, you know, they just rather not have that on videotape. And so he returned to me my video camera, minus the video that I had taped of the checkpoint. And I crossed over, and all is well. I'm here to tell about it. So to find out more about the things I care about and to read the written version of my trip to Mexico, go to eurweb.com. Thanks, and have a super day.